Hello and welcome. My name is Katie. I am a remote online notary in the state of Florida. I'm also the creator of Roadmap to Run, which is a comprehensive way to learn how to start as a remote online notary and then build your business to be able to scale it. So today we are going into a industry that I now like, which is family law. So we're going to talk about how to get in this industry and some of the ins and outs that you might not necessarily know about this niche. So my introduction to family law was not that exciting. I went through a divorce, and so I was able to get a first-hand sneak peek at what the industry was like. But it also gave me a little bit of a leg up as far as insight as to how the signers are feeling while they are doing these types of notarizations. So originally I stayed away from it for a little while, and then once I started actually working within the industry, I really enjoy it. So for the most part, I know that most people think of being a notary as doing loan signings, and that's like a typical thing. Like that's the marketing for the loan signing industry is very, very robust. So that is good, but I don't like competing. So I would rather go to a different industry, one that might not be so saturated, and something that I could round out my book of business. So the goal of this is to create a long-term business so that way it can sustain you regardless of anything that is going on within any industry. So, if loan signings are down, you can always go ahead and pivot to family law. There's always going to be things that are going on within family law that do need notarizations. So we're going to go into the industry, we're going to go into marketing, we're going into the typical documents, and then also I'm going to go into some examples. So first of all, the industry is law. So the niche is family law. What you typically think about when you think about family law is divorces, but it also can cover a wide range of different stages of anyone's life. So it's not always going to be these high conflict, contentious types of things that you are not always going to want to deal with. Sometimes it's simple, parting of ways or different types of things that happen within the family to be able to do these types of notarizations. So as far as marketing, the way that you're going to want to do this is two different ways. The first thing is to become an authority within your space. So if you are a remote notary, it can be anywhere. If you are in person, it would be localized ads, going to different mixers, going to different BNI events or networking events, and then just going and doing door knocking. So you can also do something like look up the closest 5 family law firms in your area, call them up, and then let them know that you exist. That is typically what you're going to want to do when you do marketing. So it's an immersive approach. If you're low on funds or just in general, I always suggest doing in person because I think that has been the longest lasting for me. But also you want to do an immersive approach of 7 different touch points throughout. So it's just basically like you're in front of them all of the time. The typical documents that you will see is prenups. So if 2 people are thinking about getting married, they would go to a family lawyer and just kind of get everything settled. So that way, if something did happen down the road where they did get divorced, everything was kind of laid out in a way that made sense. So it could be for anyone. But typically what you're going to see is high net worth clients that just kind of want to get things buttoned up, or couples that are a little bit later on in their life and they want to make sure that their mixed families, that legacy is distributed in a way that they see fit. So that is not really anything that the notary will have to deal with, but I just wanted to give you a lay of the land. So you have prenups, you have postnups. So after they have gotten married, sometimes for whatever reason, they might want to have something where that does lay everything out of what they are going to do if there is a divorce or something along those lines. And then also there's divorces. So the typical documents that you will see is, they call them all different types of things. And it kind of depends on the region. It kind of depends on the lawyer. It just really depends, but typically divorces are called marriage settlement agreements. So after both party has agreed to the terms of the separation, they get that notarized. So it'll be everything that encompasses the marriage, how they're going to distribute certain things. So it could be like, this is how the house is being distributed, this is how the cars are being distributed, things like that. So the other part of family law is also children, so minors. Usually what I see is parenting plans that are separate from the marriage settlement agreement. So they kind of think of them as two separate parts. So you have the marriage settlement agreements of what is going on with like the funds or the property, and then you have the parenting plan of, let's say there is a minor that's involved in some sort of separation, divorce, things like that. They get everything laid out so that way the custody is clear, they know the schedule, they know all of the things of like who's paying for what when it comes to like sports or extracurriculars. So they try and cover everything within the parenting plan. And so this could be for people that are divorcing or people that are not married but do have a minor, and for whatever reason they just want to get something on paper. So that is also typical. That is going to usually be notarized. And then also one of the other things that you can expect to see is adoptions. So it could be for international adoptions or it could be domestic. Sometimes it is a family member that is adopting another family member. So the dynamics are usually pretty different and you will come across different situations all the time. But that is what you can expect to see within family law. There's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be new things that pop up. But in general, those types of documents are what you're going to see. Now, to get into the nitty-gritty of the documents themselves are easy. Typically, for all of them, you're going to see, just like at the very end, the signers will sign. They're going to get that notarized and then be on their way. Sometimes you will have to have them initial each part. So like pages 1 through 15, make sure that you have initials on each part. You will be able to see that because it's going to be indicated on the right-hand side and the left-hand side on the bottom of each page. So if you want to see an example of a divorce decree being notarized, that's within my course. So I go over everything on divorce decrees. I go over a lot of different things within the course. So I do hope that you go and check it out because it's a great resource for anyone that is trying to get into this business. And so some typical examples that you're going to see, adoption is a big one in case there's international, because there's a ton of different things that need to be notarized. And sometimes it'll be where, they're over in a different country and they cannot get to a US based notary. So making sure that you are letting your clients be aware that you can do international notarizations for clients that are out of. Otherwise, that is typically what you can expect. I would go directly to the law firms, the offices, sign up with the bar in your the bar association within your county, get invited to mixers, get on the newsletter, see the different types of events, and then just show up with your business cards. If you need to register, just make sure that you're letting them know that you're a notary. But typically, there's not going to be any other notaries that are also marketing. I've never run into another notary while I'm marketing for law firms. So it's usually the first time that anyone has ever heard about remote online notaries. So I go over within my course the things that you would want to have already set in place. So that way, if you do get, like a family lawyer, that a firm with about 7 different lawyers under them, and you're about to get a volume, you want to make sure that that's set up. So my course goes over everything. Also make sure to check out my Facebook group. I hope that this was helpful. Leave a comment below if you thought that this was helpful or if you want any other type of video, because I do look at them. So thank you so much.